Hello everybody, hello. Oh my god, wait, I need to fix my lights. Like too on me, you know? There we go, that's better. This video I was not planning on making, but the girlies are mad. Yeah, I think the Dave Chappelle fans found my video on Dave Chappelle. No, I am 100% sure they found it. They are not happy with me. They are not pleased. I posted a video a week ago talking about the Dave Chappelle special titled The Closer. In that special, he talked about trans people. He made a lot of really not nice jokes about trans people. A lot of jokes that I won't get into it. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go watch it. I talk much more in depth about, you know, my opinions of the special, why I thought it was problematic, all that kind of stuff. This video is gonna be more of just like, kind of just like a reaction to the comments that I've gotten. I will probably do a little bit of clarification on some of the points that I maybe didn't explain the best. If there's any, you know, reoccurring themes throughout the comments that people want me to address, obviously I will address them, I guess. I post videos twice a week here on my channel, so if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those different places. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into some of the hate comments that I got from Dave Chappelle's fans. Hate comments? I'm gonna go with hate comments. Dave literally dragged DaBaby and you completely missed it. You even glossed over his pro-trans bathroom joke over DaBaby, proving what he said once again. You don't listen. The pro-trans joke where the punchline was that the woman had a dick? I listened, babe, I listened. How are you gonna lead with, it's terrible and damaging to make these jokes and think it's okay if it's in the name of comedy, yet turn right back around and say, oh, it's okay to make these jokes if he was gay or trans? You lost all credit with me right there, fake outrage. I hate having to explain simple things. Like, I really do. Do you think it's okay for a white person to call a black person the N-word? Or maybe to get a more accurate comparison, do you think it's okay for a white person to joke about the stereotypical physical features of a black person? Do you think that's cool? Do you think that's fine? Or do you think it perpetuates racist tropes? Well, damn, actually, maybe you do think that's fine, but those things would have a different answer if it was a black person making jokes about, you know, themselves, the stereotypes that have been placed about themselves, or using these slurs that have been used against their own community as a way of retaking the power from them. Samantha Lux. I do believe some of the LGBTQ community is way too sensitive. You are misrepresenting his jokes and opinions. Okay, like, I think y'all are too sensitive. Moving on. I can say things too. I've watched the comedy skit and I didn't see any transphobia. I'm not here to demean anyone who's trans, but I truly didn't see anything. In fact, most of it's true. This community is by far the most sensitive and it shows. I feel if we're able to make fun of cis-hets, then why the hell can't we take a joke? I think this person might be trans. I'm not, you know, 100% sure if they are trans. But this whole, like, we make jokes about cis-het people, why can't they make jokes about us? Like, and they can make jokes about us. I wasn't saying they can't make any jokes about trans people. Just the jokes that he was making, they were just really low blows. The jokes that we make about cis people are like this. You know those cis-hets that insist on hanging out in queer spaces? I think they should be called fruit flies. Are you that mad? Or is that really that, like, offensive? Dave Chappelle's jokes where a woman had a dick and trans women aren't really women. Like, haha. Don't get me wrong, trans people are hilarious. You know, our situations, our circumstances, our transitions. It's a very unique experience and there's a lot of room for jokes. There's a lot of room for comedy. But the jokes that he made, you know, they lacked any sort of depth. They were completely dismissive of the struggles that trans women actually do face every single day. And they even perpetuated a lot of that information that gets trans people killed. Like, not to be that snowflake ass bitch, but people are dying. It's all fun and games until somebody dies. Unless it's a trans person, right? Then it's just funnier? Question mark? I think she kind of missed the point. Racism was the overarching theme. Fair enough. You know, there definitely was some other themes in the special that I didn't mention. I definitely focused on the trans and like the LGBT parts, which, like, can you blame me? Like, that's the content that I make. Obviously, I'm gonna focus on the stuff that I know. Though I will say I'm not really sure how bringing in another minority helps this cause, but all right, got me good. I thought you would be a little more chill and dig deep into the whole situation. Did you not know his friend who was a trans woman committed because of all the hate she was getting for supporting her friend Dave Chappelle? Some of the jokes might suck, but still most of us ordinary trans women, trans men don't find it an issue. And in reality, I thought you would see it from an elevated point of view rather than from a Locke's point of view. As a trans woman, this was disappointing. Expected you to have a little more maturity on the issue. Trans woman for Dave Chappelle. Okay, here's the thing. Some people are acting like I'm calling for this whole massive strike against Dave Chappelle or something. I'm pretty sure all I did was make a video critiquing some of the jokes that he made about my community. I feel like that is well within my right. Even if it wasn't my community, comedy is a form of art. And you can't just say that, you know, I'm gonna create this art and put it out for millions and millions of people. but you're not allowed to criticize it, and you're not allowed to comment on it. And I thought I looked into it pretty well. Admittedly, I didn't bring up Daphne, but since a lot of the comments on my last video about Dave Chappelle were saying that, you know, I purposely didn't bring up Daphne because I didn't want to make the trans community look bad because they did this to her, blah, blah, blah. I'll talk about it. At the end of this special, Dave Chappelle talks about his trans friend, Daphne, who after the Sticks and Stones special came out a few years ago, where Dave Chappelle was once again being transphobic, shocker, she publicly defended him on her Twitter. A lot of trans people thought that, you know, she was going against her own community and, you know, whatever. We don't have to get into what they were specifically saying to Daphne, but just not nice things. And then Dave says that he isn't sure if it's a result of, you know, the tweets that came in backlash for her supporting Dave Chappelle. But about a week after this Sticks and Stones special came out and she defended him, she actually ended up taking her own life. And of course, anybody ending their own life is tragic. I feel like I shouldn't have to clarify that. And also something that I feel like I shouldn't have to clarify is that bullying and harassment and this online torment, you know, where we send death threats and messages to people telling them to kill themselves, none of that is okay, and I'm not excusing any of that. That's totally unacceptable. And I would say that even if it was coming from another trans person, obviously. And maybe I should have mentioned it because to me, he was really using her. He wanted to give himself this kind of trans pass to make these attacks these jokes or this dark humor against trans people without having to take any criticism or anything like that. It was okay because he has a trans friend. You know, my friend is trans. She said it was okay, which of course, even if his friend did say it was okay, that does not mean it's okay, okay? And the other reason I think that he brought Daphne up was to, again, further frame trans people as this irrational, cruel, and, you know, vicious community that would stop at nothing to cancel people, even if it meant causing somebody in their own community to take their own life. It wasn't to bring light to her story or to pay homage to her. It was to cover his ass. And by the way, Daphne's roommate has actually come out against the allegations that the reason that Daphne, you know, ended her life was because of the tweets and stuff like that coming out after the Sticks and Stones special. But Dave didn't really care to bring up the actual issues that Daphne faced as a trans woman that led to her death. He didn't care to bring up the fact that she lost her child or lost her job or faced daily harassment for being transgender. Harassment against trans people that has potentially been influenced and informed by comedy like Dave Chappelle's. This one says, I have an idea. If you don't like him or disagree, don't watch him. It's called a remote. No one is forcing you to watch. People have views I don't agree with, but I don't advocate to cancel them. They just have a right to their opinions and views. I love that this person took the time to criticize me and tell me not to take the time to criticize Dave. You get to take the time, but I don't get to take the time? Humor is dark in nature. It's a coping mechanism. People use it to get their heads around things they don't understand. Frankie Boyle, Eddie Murphy, South Park, etc. It's all done as a joke and shouldn't be taken seriously. I'll bet everyone here laughs at something others don't find funny. Being really angry over a comedy routine makes it more infamous and popular. Don't spend your life being upset over nothing. It's far worse to censor things because you can't stop how out of control it goes. Who's trying to censor anything? Like, did you watch my video? Like, I really just don't care to censor him or cancel him or get it taken offline. I don't care. But also, like, what is poor Dave Chappelle trying to cope with these jokes attacking trans people? The fact that the trans woman rejected him? Is that what he's trying to cope with? Yes, I get it's all supposed to be done as a joke and it's not supposed to be taken seriously, but like, you have to understand that even if it is a joke, even if it is in this comedy setting, people are still taking bits of this as truth. People are still, you know, it's still getting ingrained in the back of their head that it's funny that a trans woman has a dick. Trans women aren't really women. Dave Chappelle laced his comedy with truth. I mean, come on. Do you have a period, Samantha? Do you use feminine hygiene products? If you can't have a sense of humor about the uniqueness of transition, you're always gonna get hurt. See, I have a sense of humor about my transition and all that. These jokes just sucked. You have to have a very, very low, like honestly degrading understanding of what it means to be trans for these jokes to be funny. My point is just that he's bringing up these differences that are coincidentally, the same differences that people bring up when they want to say that trans women are just men. Not to mention him quite explicitly saying that trans women aren't women when he stands up and supports and defends J.K. Rowling. Love that. Saying I'm Team TERF and wondering why you're being called transphobic has the same energy as saying I stand with the KKK and wondering why you're being called racist. Also, Dave, how old is 15 anyway? Chappelle has never been funny and no one can change my mind. Okay, yes, this comparison first of all, but oh my god, I forgot to talk about this in the last video. Them calling Dave, how old is 15 anyway, Chappelle, is not just like some random thing. In his Sticks and Stones special, this man makes some very strange jokes. He jokes about how attractive specific children are and like names Macaulay Culkin in the Home Alone movies when the kid was like literally like 10 years old. It's giving very much Shane Dawson joking about Willow Smith and, you know, pretending to be pleasuring himself to that poster of Willow Smith. It's giving very much that. Apparently things like that are not problematic unless you're a YouTuber, I guess. Like, yeah, no, Dave Chappelle saying it to millions and millions of people isn't problematic at all. It's just jokes. It's not like he is telling people to go out and chase down trans people and hurt them. Bitches think I'm dumb. Bitches really think I'm dumb. If you can't understand how a massively maybe I am dumb. Can't understand how a massively influential person like Dave Chappelle telling millions and millions and millions of people that trans women aren't women, if you can't see how that's going to hurt trans women, I don't know what to tell you. I simply can't help you figure that out. Calling Chappelle's stand-up transphobic is damn ignorant. You really wonder why so many trans people and LGBTQ members alike find it hilarious and remain unbothered. Unreal. If you are a trans person and you like think this special is fine and like you don't care, whatever, you're not upset or offended by it, I am so happy for you. I'm genuinely just so happy for you. That's awesome. If you're a trans person telling other trans people to not be upset, you're annoying. Also, I love when people throw out the word ignorant. Like, do you care to elaborate on what makes it ignorant, or are you out of vocab words? That is it. I am done. I am probably done talking about Dave Chappelle for a while too. I figured this would be kind of a fun video to do, maybe clarify some of my points, you know, address the hate. I don't know. It was fun. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time watching. If you did have a good time watching, make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. I post new videos every week here on my channel. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye everyone.